In the last few years, the MCU, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has been pumping out movies and shows like nobody's business. And this has led to them starting plot lines that either haven't been resolved yet, or that will never be resolved.
You didn't see that coming?
Today I'm going to go over all of the mid and post-credit scenes that have been left up in the air. If you enjoy this video, please consider liking and sharing. It will greatly help to grow and sustain the channel. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, and you can also follow me on all of my other social medias, all of which are linked down below, and all of which house similar content that I make here on this channel. Now that I've said that, let's get into it. We're actually going to start with a post-credit scene from all the way back in 2016, and that is Doctor Strange. And this is only one of two plot lines from the first three phases that was not answered. In the post-credit scene, Baron Mordo steals another sorcerer's power, and he then says that there are too many sorcerers out there.
Why are you doing this? Because I see at long last what's wrong with the world. Too many sorcerers.
Now, this post-credit scene was meant to be followed up on in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, but this was left on the cutting room floor. There is concept art of him having a showdown with Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, and here Wanda was meant to behead him and hold his head up as a threat to others, which would have been insane to see. It is still possible that Mordo could return because technically in canon, he's not dead, but I doubt it will be followed up on. The second post-credit scene from before Phase 4 that didn't get a payoff was back in 2017 with Spider-Man Homecoming. This one is kinda iffy though. We see Vulture, or Adrian Toomes, meeting Scorpion in prison, and this sort of teases Scorpion and possibly the Sinister Six to make an appearance. However, you could also say that this was only put in there to show that Toomes was protecting Peter, and that's the end of it. It wasn't meant to tease anything else, it was just closure for Toomes' character.
If I knew who he was, he'd already be dead.
At least until they appeared in the Sony universe, which I have no idea what they were trying to do with that.
I'm not sure how I got here. Has to do with Spider-Man, I think.
Next, we have Falcon and the Winter Soldier from 2021. After Sharon Carter is pardoned by the United States government, they offer her a position in the government, part of the CIA. However, we're left with a plot point that hasn't been resolved yet, which is Sharon deciding to continue being the power broker, but this time through insider trading.
We're about to have full access to government secrets, prototype weapons, you name it. Should be something for everyone.
However, this show got a sequel with the Brave New World movie, so there won't be a second season, meaning it's up in the air how exactly Sharon could return. Then there's the Shang Chi Mid Credits scene. We find out that there's a beacon in the rings, and Carol Danvers didn't know what it was, and Bruce Banner didn't know either.
A beacon.
They're sending a message.
So it was this big mystery that hasn't been explored yet. This plotline was most likely connected to Kang, the future big bad in the MCU. That is, until the actor Jonathan Majors was fired. Originally, the Shang-Chi sequel was going to be called The Wreckage of Time, and the rumored villain was going to be Kang. But following his firing, the Shang-Chi sequel has sort of been up in the air because clearly their plans went awry, so it's unlikely that this plot point will be continued. Then there's the Shang-Chi post-credit scene. We see his sister taking her place as the new leader of the 10 Rings organization in the place of her father.
Let's get started. We have a lot of work to do.
With the Shang-Chi sequel up in the air, this scene might not be paid off. I could see them trying to do a Disney Plus show, but they have so many other things lined up that I doubt they'll have time to fit this one in. Then there's the Eternals mid-credit scene from 2021. Here we meet Thanos' brother Eros, who is played by Harry Styles for some reason, as well as his sidekick Pip. They say that they want to help the Eternals find the rest of their team, setting up a plot point that hasn't been resolved yet. An Eternals sequel is pretty unlikely given its bad performance at the box office, and given that this was their first real flop, which is normal in today's world, but back then that was a very big deal. Even though it's said the Eternals will return at the end, I doubt they will, meaning this mid-credit scene will probably go nowhere. I would have loved to see Harry Styles in this role though, because it would either be hilariously terrible or at best mid, but still something to laugh at. I will say though, it's the only part of the movie that my wife liked, so there's that. Then we have the Eternals post-credit scene. In the scene, Dane Whitman begins to touch the ebony blade, but before he does, we hear the voice of Blade, and he asks Whitman if he's ready for that.
Sure you're ready for that, Mr. Whitman?
A Blade movie has been in the works for like a decade at this point. If it hasn't happened yet, I doubt it's going to happen. Then there's Spider-Man No Way Home from 2021. In the mid-credits scene, we see Eddie Brock, aka Venom, be taken to the MCU universe, and then when he's zapped back to the garbage Sony universe, a piece of Venom is left behind, teasing that Venom could appear in the MCU. However, I doubt that this will be paid off. We do have a new Spider-Man movie coming with Tom Holland and Zendaya, but Venom has not been revealed to be in any parts of the sequel. Next is Moon Knight from 2022. In the post-credit scene, we see a third identity past Mark Spector and Stephen Grant, who is Jake Lockley. When they kidnapped Arthur Harrow, Khonshu introduces his driver, who is Jake Lockley, who then shoots Harrow dead as they drive off. It's been years since we've heard anything about Moon Knight, so it's not looking good, which I think means that this post-credit scene will most likely not be paid off. Then in 2023, we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. In the post-credit scene, we see the sorceress Cleo find Strange, tell him that he had caused an incursion, and she says that they have to fix it. Strange's third eye then appears, and the two of them leave to go fix the incursion in the dark dimension.
Unless you're afraid.
Not in the least.
This one is probably the most likely on this list to be paid off. So far though, we have not heard anything about it. But incursions will probably play a big role in Secret Wars, so again, this is the most likely on this list to get paid off. After that, we have Thor Love and Thunder from 2022. In this post-credit scene, we see Zeus, played by Russell Crowe, tell his son Hercules, played by Brett Goldstein, to kill Thor.
Do you understand me, my son?
Yes, Father.
This one might not be paid off considering director Taika Waititi doesn't have interest in directing any more Thor movies, but Chris Hemsworth still seems like he's up to playing Thor, so again, we'll see. Next is She-Hulk from 2022. Here we see Wong break the Abomination out of his prison and take him back with him.
What's the guest policy at Carbitage?
It's
Shared fridge?
kind of all one with everything,
What about Wi-Fi?
Yeah, Wi-Fi.
So far, we haven't seen anything with this, and there most likely will not be another season of She-Hulk, so they would not return there, but they could turn up somewhere else, but so far, we haven't heard of any plans for that. Black Panther Wakanda Forever from 2022 is next. I almost didn't include this one, as Shuri meets her brother T'Challa's son and her nephew.
Uncle Barney. My name is Prince T'Challa, son of King T'Challa.
I feel like this could have been a very nice closure and it didn't need to be followed up on. However, there are plans for another Black Panther movie, so we'll see if they include T'Challa's son. I could also see them hiring a new actor to play him who's an adult, who might then appear in Secret Wars. After that is Ant-Man Quantumania from 2023. This, in my opinion, is by far the worst MCU movie. It is the only time I walked out of the theaters and was like, that was a waste of money. This post-credit scene is also never getting paid off, as we see thousands of Kang variants, all plotting to take over the multiverse.
How many did you call? All of us.
Seeing as Jonathan Majors has been fired, this has absolutely nowhere to go. Everything they planned with Kang is completely undone. And honestly, I'm not mad about it. I don't really like Kang, and I'm glad that he's not going to be the next Thanos and the big villain. Next, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 from 2023. Here we see a new Guardians team led by Rocket, showing the next generation. I feel like this should not be expanded on because it's a great ending to a great trilogy. And I doubt it will be, considering that James Gunn, the master behind all of the Guardians movies, has moved on to Marvel's competitor DC Studios. Also, considering that Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother, is part of this new team, I doubt he would want to continue without his brother directing. So this one will most likely not be expanded on, and honestly, I don't think it should be. I think this was the perfect ending to the trilogy. After that, we have the Marvels from 2023. Here we see Monica wake up in an alternate dimension, that being the 20th Century Fox X-Men universe, which the MCU can now use after Disney bought 20th Century Fox. Here we see Beast from the X-Men movies that debuted in the early 2000s.
You somehow crossed through a tear in space-time. You are now in a reality parallel to your own.
The X-Men will absolutely return, but whether Monica will be a part of it is unknown, especially because this was the first MCU movie to ever lose money.
No, you don't understand.
Now we get to the 2025 projects that haven't been followed up on, but almost definitely will be in the future. There just hasn't been enough time for that to happen, but I'm still gonna add them to this video. Also, spoiler alert for Brave New World, Daredevil Reborn, and Thunderbolts. Getting to Captain America Brave New World, they have a post-credit scene that teases the Multiverse and Secret Wars, which will obviously be paid off in the next Avengers movie.
We'll see what happens when you have to protect this place from the others.
Then Daredevil Born Again has a post-credit scene involving the Punisher, who will almost certainly return for Daredevil Season 2, which is in the works. Then the most recent MCU project, Thunderbolts, teased the Fantastic Four, which will obviously be paid off. I've already bought my tickets. But that's all of the MCU post and mid-credit scenes that are still left in the air. That's all I have for you today though. Thank you so much for watching.